This next story is basically about the fucked up police unions and how they try to sling their weight around. Specifically, it had to do with a WNBA basketball game where 4 of the players wore black t-shirts in support of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, in support of Black Lives Matter, but they also had on the shirts, front, back, forget where, a picture of the Dallas Police Shield. 4 off-duty Minnesota or Minneapolis police officers decided that they couldn't work because they were offended because of the support of these 4 women. So they walked off the job. The women had done a news conference before the game where they stated that they were in support of the Sterling families and the Castile families. They also stated that they were in support of the Dallas Police Department. But apparently, them showing their support for all of these groups, and including Black Lives Matter, which obviously is supporting the 2 families, was a bridge too far for those officers. Well, okay, that I saw that story, you know, and I made comments. There were a lot of people that were jumping up and down online yesterday, basically denouncing the women and also denouncing the team, and basically supporting all other officers that wanted to walk off, and telling the Lynx that they need to go get some other people. Well, hell, the Lynx are paying people, so that's not a problem as far as them having ample security at their games, okay? But it's the unwillingness to see the hurt and the pain of people other than your own, which is at play here. So anyway, let me play this clip, and it's going to include something else. I'm not going to comment on that until you actually see it. Then I'll make my comment.
Players for the WNBA's Minnesota Lynx are defending their decision to protest racial profiling at a game after 4 off-duty cops walked off the job. The players wore black warm-up shirts that read, "Change starts with us, justice and accountability" on the front. On the back, it featured the names Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, and the Dallas Police Department shield, and Black Lives Matter at the bottom of the shirts.
Now, based on that, what is offensive about that? Not a goddamn thing. But these 4 cops got their asses up on their shoulders. Why? Because of the Black Lives Matter information on the bottom of the back of the t-shirts. If Black Lives Matter hadn't been on those shirts, I honestly believe that they wouldn't have moved. But now all of a sudden, because quote unquote Black Lives Matter is against us, is targeting us, is inciting violence against us, all of a sudden they got a sense of morality. What the fuck was their morality when those 2 guys got shot, and especially the guy in Minnesota, because that guy was a complete innocent. I didn't hear the fucking police department say a goddamn thing as far as that shooting was concerned. The governor came out and said something, he told the goddamn truth. Okay? So these 4 cops got their asses up in the air because of Black Lives Matter. Okay, fine. You know something? That is their right. But okay, but that's not the whole story. Let's finish. Let's go.
The players then held a news conference before the game explaining why they wore the shirts.
So you'll see on the backs of our shirts that we're highlighting a long-time problem of racial profiling and unjust violence against blacks in our country. But we do not in any way condone violence against the men and women who serve in our police force. Senseless violence and retaliation will not bring us peace.
There was nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, they specifically said they don't condone violence against police. Okay? But apparently the cops, those off-duty cops didn't hear that piece of it. Okay, so now here comes the union.
Off-duty Minneapolis police officers working the game as security left their posts and removed their names from future games at the Target Center.
Good.
The president of the Minneapolis Police Federation issued a statement supporting the officers. It says, I commend them for it. If players are going to keep their stance, all officers may refuse to work there. The Minnesota Lynx responded with their own statement saying, quote, the Lynx organization was made aware about the concerns of the off-duty Minneapolis police officers who signed up to work Saturday night's game versus Dallas. While our players' message mourned the loss of life due to last week's shootings, we respect the right of those individual officers to express their own beliefs in their own way.
All right, this is 100% about control. These women exercise their constitutional right to speak out on an issue. And the police union wants to try to control them, i.e. by saying if they don't change their stance, if you don't do what we want you to do, then we are not going to allow our officers or support our officers in providing security for you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Your First Amendment rights are your First Amendment rights, and you are not going to get control in this particular situation. So you might as well tell your guys if they want to give up those paychecks for doing security at those games, just to line up, take their names off of those rosters, and carry their asses home. Now, here comes a story that I have an issue with, and I'll let you know exactly what it is. And it has to do with the same type of thing.
In no time was the safety of our game in question as Target Center staffs extra personnel for each and every game. The Lynx and the entire WNBA have been saddened by the recent shootings in Dallas, Baton Rouge, and St. Paul. We continue to urge a constructive discussion about the issues raised by these tragedies, end quote. Now, the police chief in Minneapolis issued her own statement, and she added that she expected her officers, even though they were not on duty, if they were wearing their uniform, to uphold their duties that they agreed to. Now, also, folks, an NFL player is in hot water after posting what some describe as a disturbing illustration of a police officer having his throat slashed. Isaiah Crowell, a running back for the Cleveland Browns, posted this image. It shows the police officer getting his throat slashed by a masked person on his Instagram account with the caption, "Mood. They give police all types of weapons and they continuously choose to kill us. #weak." Crowell posted the portrait following the deaths of Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, and just one day before 5 officers were gunned down in Dallas. According to reports, police personnel at the Brown Stadium are threatening to leave their post in protest. Crowell has since deleted the post and offered a public apology, but the cops in Cleveland say that's not enough. They want him to travel to Dallas to apologize to the families of the officers who are being killed, also to make a donation as well.
All right, now this is my take on that. That was stupid for him to put up a post like that, and I absolutely do not agree with that post, okay? He shouldn't have done it, and I'm not even going to blame it on youth, because if you got any kind of good goddamn common sense, he shouldn't have done that. Now, in his defense, he put that post up before the cops in Dallas were killed. He put it up before. So, in my opinion, yes, taking that post down was the right thing to do. Yes, he needs to apologize for putting the post up, period. That's it. No flying to Dallas, because he didn't put the post up in relationship to the killings in Dallas. No money donations. the public apology for the post should be the end of it. Okay, because I didn't see any cops issuing public apologies to the families of Tamir Rice and John Crawford in Cleveland. I didn't see any police unions donating or contributing any money to the families. I didn't see any of that. Okay, and even though it's fully acknowledged that the cops actually murdered these two individuals, though they weren't charged for them. So fuck the police union. Fuck them. And if I were the player, I would issue the apology and then shut up. And if they come back at me, I would tell them to kiss my ass.